So the thing is that you actually don't need to be reading philosophy to be practicing philosophy. This is both good and bad news because reading philosophy is easy and practicing it might be a little bit harder. Because there's a huge difference between reading philosophy and living according to philosophical ideals or traditions. I've noticed that a lot of the time people will treat philosophy as an adornment rather than as a tool. It's like, oh, I've read all these books by all these authors, I know what they think. But it's like, how do you live your life? How do you take the ideas and apply them to what you do every day and the way you interact with people and the way you try to cultivate virtue in yourself? Because sitting and reading is not in and of itself a virtue. And this all comes from the perspective of me on my journey to becoming an embodied Platonist and figuring out what that means. Because after 7 years of thinking constantly about Plato's Symposium, I did a translation of it. And I've thought about it even more in the few years since then. What I've been realizing more and more is how philosophical just like talking to your friends is. Of course, this is the whole setting of Plato, his dialogues featuring Socrates and some other conversation partners who work out ideas together. It's that whatever problem you're facing on a given day and the conversation you have with your friends about it can be a practice of philosophy. That's really the thing about how reading philosophy and practicing philosophy are so different. Because when you spend a ton of time reading philosophy, you kind of take yourself out of the world. But the point of philosophy is to make your life better, to make society better. That's why it exists, to figure out why things are the way that they are and what to do about it. It's like the Indiana Jones thing where he tells the kid, if you want to be a good archaeologist, you have to get out of the library. If you want to be a good philosopher, you have to be interacting with the world. And it happens constantly. I find that just whatever my friend is going through, that's the subject of the video today. Whatever problem I'm trying to work out in my own life gets filtered through the lens of Socrates and Plato and the Symposium. If you think of every interaction, of every event, of everything that happens in your life as an occasion for philosophy, tell me, do you think that's easier or harder than reading books about philosophy all the time? And follow if you want to come on my journey to being an embodied Platonist. Maybe you want to do it too. Or if you want to embody a philosophical tradition.